Hello YouTube. So the last time Chris and I were at the track, the radiator got a hole in it. You know, I've always used these zip tie things that you push through the radiator, and then they use these little round things to clip on the other side, and they hold the radiator up. Well, that's a pretty big radiator, or that's a pretty big fan. These go through the radiator and hold the fan up. So you got the fan right here. It's got these holes in it, and it mounts the fan directly to the radiator. Now, unfortunately, what happened is the weight of that fan will eventually crush these fins. If it crushes them too much, it puts a crack in them. See? A crack right there. Now this is the Speedway, is it Speedway? Yeah, Speedway double pass radiator. They come in different lengths, widths, there's all the same height, but I think they come in 22, 24, 26, 28, and a 30, maybe even a 32, but this is a 26. But to combat this from happening again, so we're not going to put the fan directly on the radiator no more. They actually sell special shrouds. They make 4 of these fans at Speedway, and we found a scratch. They're only like 55 bucks, but they had a scratch and blemish one for our 26 inch. Ours is a 26 inch, and Christopher bought it. It was only like 45 bucks, 40 bucks maybe. It was like $15 off the regular price because it's got some scratches in it. They're not really that noticeable and not big of a deal. But yeah, it does have, it's hard to see. But yeah, it's got scratches on it. Yeah, the worst of it's over here. But yeah, this is a blow-through setup. The fan blows through the radiator. So that's going to be up inside there, so you're not even going to see it. And to fix my voice probably sounds funny. I've been sick since, well, today's Wednesday. I've been sick since Tuesday of last week. So I've been sick a week and a day. I coughed so much I lost my voice. It's just now coming back, but my throat still don't feel right, but it's getting better. But anyway, RadiatorWeld, JB Weld RadiatorWeld. We're going to try some of this. So I sanded this up with some 400 grit sandpaper. Well, first thing I did was I took these needle nose and reached in there and grabbed and pulled these little fin things out. These tubes is where the water flows through, and then these little fans are just where the air blows through. You can pull them right out. So that's what I did. I stuck these needle nose in there and grabbed them and pulled them out where I'm going to be working at. And then this is what comes with the JB Weld radiator repair. It comes with this stick, this fiberglass, and these 2 packets. Now these 2 packets, you're supposed to squeeze this packet until this middle part busts, and then squeeze it up into this one, and then kind of knead it up into it, and then mix it all together. And then you cut it right through there to put it on what you're wanting to put it on. And so first we're going to do that, and then we're going to put it where the crack is. We're going to put it all around that area, up and down. And first we're going to cut a piece of this fiberglass that's going to fit this, because we're going to put a coat on, and then we're going to put the fiberglass on, then we're going to put another coat on, and then we let it dry. It says, well, let's get the real instructions out here. Here's the instructions. Y'all want to stop the screen and read them. Right there. Sets in 5 minutes and cures in 4 hours. But yeah, remove dirt, grease, blah, blah. just what I said. And it pretty much says that same thing on here. Up here are some warnings. Do not swallow. Do not get on skin. Might want to wear rubber gloves when doing this, but oh well. But let's get started. Let's go ahead and cut a piece that's going to fit. I want to fit it kind of over that, so we're going to cut that first. And we'll mix this up. One coat, fiberglass, another coat, done. Well, change of plans. I tried to cut that, and it literally just fell apart. I mean, I'm not kidding. That's it. It just fell apart. Over my cold. But yeah, it's just looped together. So I guess we're going to put a coat on there and then kind of do this number right here. And then put another coat on there. And then try to cut around it, I guess. I don't know. All right, I squeezed this. It popped right in here. And now I'm just squeezing it back and forth. I'll squeeze this one into the top. And squeeze the top into the bottom. Just mixing it up real good. Well, hopefully I got it mixed up good enough. I cut that corner. I'm going to put it on my stick. And smear my stick down in there. It stinks. Whew. All right. Might have got a little carried away. Hey, the better than that leaking. That would probably do. We probably don't need that fiberglass stuff in there, but we're going to put it in there anyway. All right, I put a piece of fiberglass down in there. I don't know if you can tell or not, but now we're going to put it over the fiberglass. And that stuff gets hot. It is hot. It's almost too hot to touch. Just from mixing that up, it gets hot. Chemical reaction. Woo. Well, where that stuff gets so hot, it dries quick. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up trying to screw around making videos. But yeah. It sticks to that stick too, so it's kind of hard to smear it around, especially when it starts to dry. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think it'll seal. Look at it. It's pretty good. Right there's where the crack was, right above that. Yeah, I like it. It's not so hot no more. All right, so next day, well, I did this last night, and it's in the morning, so about 12 hours later. Here's what we got. You can see it better without the light. You know, it's still kind of soft, believe it or not. But the crack was right across there. I think we're good. I think it's good. But well, look, there's a little hole right there. But that's the side. The crack was up here on the top. But I don't know, if you guys ever work with that stuff, just remember, it dries really fast. So you gotta be ready. I thought that it wouldn't start drying until you cut the hole in it. I was, for some reason, I don't know, I was thinking that it had to get air in it before it started drying. Nope. No. Once you start getting it mixed up and it starts generating heat, it'll start drying. So you don't got very long. See, I can still move that around. Is that weird? It ain't dried all the way. See, I could see some shiny right there, and I just moved it around. It was cold last night though, but we're gonna give that a while to dry. We'll come out here after work, after it warms up a little bit in here, see what we got. But yeah, look, I moved that around right there because it was showing some fin, shiny fin right there. I just moved it around. I don't know. Maybe I didn't mix it too well on the ends where I cut it. You know, hindsight. See, that's dry as can be right in the middle where it all mushed together. Hindsight, I'd cut it right there in the middle instead of up here on the edge. Because, I don't know, that stuff on the edge is dry too. But the outside's still a little tacky. I don't know. If it don't work, we'll scrape it off, try it again. That stuff's like 20 bucks though. But if it don't work, we'll scrape it off, try it again, I guess. I don't know if it'll work or not. It don't seem like it. I was using the very end up there, and it didn't seem like it mixed that good. And I need it on that forever. Because like I said, inside that box, or inside that pouch, it's dry as could be. It ain't dry right here. Like you can see, we moved it off the fin right there. Like I could probably, not going to, but I could probably stick my finger and go like that and see the fin again. But the cracks right where my fingernail's at was, yeah. I don't know. What do y'all think? We're gonna try her anyway. All right, after work, it's a lot drier. Yeah, a lot drier. It ain't tacky no more. But it's still cold outside. Can you still move that? I guess it is still a little tacky, but yeah, it's been like 30 something. Actually, this morning, it was warmer this morning than it is right now. It's like 45 this morning. It's like 32 right now. Actually snowed here in Kentucky. But I think that ought to do it. And we drilled some holes in our shroud. I messed up. I had to drill them again, don't ask. And then went to the hardware store and got 1/4" 20 bolts with the locking nuts. So we're going to go ahead. We'll go ahead and drop the radiator in, and then I bought some more radiator zip tie things just to hold the trans cooler on. That's not that heavy. That'll be fine. This is heavy. Plus it's turning off and on, and the thing's kind of powerful. This right here, it's not that heavy at all. Plus it don't have any moving parts. So drop the radiator in, zip tie that on. We'll leave the radiator kind of sticking out this way. And then we'll bolt that up, drop that in, put it all together. Another reason why I think that zip tie did that to that radiator holding that fan is because the ones that came with the fan, they were that big. These are the ones I usually use. They ain't near as big. The ones I put through there were as big as that hole. And they were barely enough to fit in between the fans. That's how big they were. I think that was part of it too. But anyway, got the radiator in. Just sending the zip ties through for the trans cooler. So on these, I'm going to use the bolt, a washer, and a locking nut. All right, fan's all bolted on. Now we're going to set her down in there. Put that up against the bottom ledge. Then I got a self-tapper to go through here to hold it right there. There we go, it's all together. Question is it going to fit back in there? We're about to find out. So I was worried about the back of the fan hitting the intercooler. Nope. The top of the fan is hitting back here. So, which ain't a big deal. I mean, see, don't know if you can see it or not. See, I was worried about the back of the fan hitting the intercooler, but I know y'all can't see in there, but I can. It's about, I don't know, about an inch from it, but sitting right in there, right in here, the top of the fan right there. See, you can see where it hit. That's not a big deal. We'll just build a bracket to space it out a little, because it don't need to be all the way tucked up in there anyway. Yeah, that'll work. We'll just make a bracket that comes off right there and holds it right there. That'll be perfect. And that shroud is going to help keep it stay a lot cooler. I know on hot days, with just the fan zip tied to the radiator, after about 20 minutes of driving, it'd get up to about 200. I don't know if it'd go higher than that if you kept driving it or not, but it's got a 170 thermostat in it, and the fans come on at a 160 thermostat, and the fans come on at 170. So it should never get over 175 ever. So hopefully that shroud will fix that. So actually, just pried up on this a little, and it went up in there. That's perfect. And we still got quite a ways from the back of the fan to the intercooler. Perfect. That'll work. That's perfect. Now I'm gonna make new brackets, but for now I just twisted the ones I had around. It flaked some of the paint off, but it holds it good. That ain't going nowhere. Shaking the whole car. Well, I guess we'll clip our zip ties and put our hoses and everything back on and see if it leaks. But not going to do that today because I'm cold. I don't like the cold. It's freaking snowing again. Man, I hate this time of the year. I hate this time of the year. Everything looks dead. It's cold. It gets dark at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I hate snow. Well, tomorrow will be a little bit warmer. We'll put some water in it and make sure. Go for a ride. And make sure it don't leak. Alright, so it's been a few days. I let this dry. Everything's back together. But again, I needed the crap out of this. Like squeezed it all together, mixed it all up. But it didn't seem to mix as good up here as it did down here in the middle, because it got real hot and dried real quick right here in the middle. But up here where you cut it, see, that's still tacky, but it's hard as a rock. It's still tacky though. But hindsight, I should have, if I have to do this again, I'm gonna cut it in the middle and use what's right here in the middle rather than up here. When you squeeze all this together and go like this, it doesn't seem to mix that good up here at the top. But anyway, tech tip. A lot of people, they'll fill these cars up from, and I made this mistake the first time I ever messed with one of these engines. Filled up the radiator, started the car, and it kept overheating. And I was wondering why. Well, you fill up the radiator, it goes down here, and the only way it can get into the engine is this way. It doesn't get full enough to go up this hose if you just fill it up from the radiator. So there's a thermostat there. It's closed. It's not going to get in the engine. So the best thing to do is to fill it up here from the top water neck. Once you get it filled up here, then you fill up the radiator. And another thing that helps get the air out of the water, because if you get air pockets in the water, it's going to overheat too. The best way to get the air out is to have the front of the engine really high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack it up, put it on jack stands, so the car's sitting like this, so the motor's back, and then fill that up, then fill the radiator up, put the top hose on, and then what I usually do is I take this. They make things for this, but this works pretty good. I put this right here. Then I fill this up. I make it the highest point of any of the water. You know, especially this hose is usually the highest point. And then I just let it run, and I'll squeeze the hoses, and it'll burp all the air out of the water. Because you got to get all the air out of the water, or it'll overheat, or it'll get a hot spot where that pocket of air is at. That's what we're going to do today, and we're going to drive it around, see if it leaks, make sure our fan's not hitting anything. When the fan comes on, make sure it doesn't make a brrr noise or something. And I bought some all vehicles antifreeze. We're going to go ahead and put antifreeze in it. During the summer, we'll drain it out, but do yourself a favor. The 50-50 mix, which is half antifreeze, half water, is the same price as the concentrate. Concentrate is pure antifreeze. Save yourself some money and buy pure antifreeze, because one of those equals 2 of the 50-50s. You buy 2 of the 50-50s, that's 30, 35 bucks. You buy one of the concentrates, mix it yourself, and that's 15 to 17 bucks. And you'll see it says concentrate right there. Must add water. All right, there we go. It's full. Trust me, it's full. It'll eventually slip past the thermostat and go into the radiator, but it was full. It was coming out. Now we're going to fill the radiator up, and then we're going to fill this back up, and then we'll put the hose on it. But yeah, so I'm going to use 1 gallon of antifreeze and then 1 gallon of water, because again, must add water. You got to mix it yourself. And then once I do 2 gallons, I'm going to do a half a gallon of this and then a half a gallon of water. And I always start with the antifreeze, because you want more antifreeze than you want water. I mean, you want to try to hit 50-50, but if you can't hit 50-50, you definitely want more antifreeze than water, especially in the colder climates. In the colder climates, you probably want 60-70% antifreeze and the rest water. But anyway, fill the radiator up. All right, I filled up the radiator until it started coming out there. Now I'm going to fill this back up, put the hose on, top the radiator off. And where this is higher than this, that thermostat will let some through. It's not letting me fill that all the way up, because it keeps coming out there. See, it's dripping out there, but that's water now, but you can see it's right up there towards the top. Now put the hose on, top the radiator off, start it up, and let it burp itself out. All right, so I used 1.5 gallons of antifreeze. I used like 1.8 gallons of water. And the reason I did that was because this thing had straight water in it, and you can't get it all out of the block. So there was probably 1/2 gallon to 1 gallon in the block, I'm assuming. So we're gonna burp it with the antifreeze in the funnel, because it'll suck in a little bit more. And that should do it. Start it up. We'll fill this up till it's the highest point. So there, and then that hose is the highest point. We want to make this the highest point. And that'll do it, because we're about right there. About even. We'll start it up, let it get up to temp, squeeze the hoses, and it'll burp all the air out. And again, it helps to have the front end higher. See, got her jacked up. It helps to have the engine at an angle. Once it gets warm enough to open the thermostat, some bubbles will start coming out of that funnel. We want to make sure those bubbles are gone. bubbles coming out. When the thermostat opens, it'll do it even more. But we want to run it until them bubbles stop. Gotta get it all the way up to temp too. And make sure to keep adding to your funnel so it stays the highest point of coolant on the car. It'll start to go down as the bubbles come out. Just make sure you keep adding to it to keep that funnel the highest level. It's up to 172. The fan is turning, it's not hitting anything. And I'm not really getting no more air out, but I'm gonna let it run, I don't know, 10, 15 more minutes while I squeeze the hoses. See, I'm not really getting no more air out, but I'm gonna still let it go for about another, it took it 10 minutes to get up to temp. I'm gonna let it run another 10, 15 minutes while I squeeze the hoses every now and then. And right here you can see the car's been running for about, I don't know, 20 minutes at this point. It's up to 172. It tickled 173 and then came back down with a 160 thermostat. Fan's coming on at 170. That's about where it should be. All right, there we go. It kept falling back on me, so I put that there. But yeah, no more squeezing the hoses. No more air was coming out. Looked all good. Got up to 172, 173 was bouncing back and forth, but I let it run for 30 solid minutes. Now, I'm gonna drain this catch can. And I'm gonna leave that in there like that until it cools completely down, because it'll suck some more in there. And then we'll take it off, put the radiator cap on, drain the catch can, because when it gets hot, it pushes into the catch can. When it cools down, it sucks it back out of the catch can. So we want this empty, because if it's full and it gets hot and it pushes coolant in there, and it'll overflow. I don't know how much is in it, but we'll see. See, and this is where it would have been leaking at. It was in this area. But I don't see no water coming out. Can y'all see? Yeah, there's been water across here. Nothing coming out yet. So after it cools down, then we're able to put the radiator cap on it. We'll take it for a ride. We'll dry these boards off. We'll take it for a ride. We'll pull it up on the boards. Put it up on the trans brake. That way it's got some boost pressure and get the water pump really spinning, and see if anything comes down out. But we gotta let it cool down first. I'm gonna let it cool down and see if it sucks anything out of that funnel, and then put the radiator cap on. Then we'll take it for a ride and see what it does. All right, it cooled down to about 110. I took the funnel off, put the thermostat on. Let's go for a ride. Cruising down the highway. Picked up a hitchhiker. Hey. Well, we drove the shit out of it. Let's see if it leaks. oil. That's where we got the timing set so low on the trans brake so it wouldn't spin at that no prep. But it didn't leak any. Nothing. See what a leak right there. Right where that bolt's at.
Well, it dripped down on that board too.
Yep. That's why I got over the board.
Yeah.
But yeah. That JB Weld worked. But we have another problem. Driving around town, it stays around 170. Getting on the highway, it gets up to like 190, 191. Is that as high as it went?
191 size.
Yeah, but it's at 14.7 AFR cruising down the highway. I think if we put that at like 13.5, I think it'll fix that. But another thing is, it broke the sprag again. It won't go into second gear. There's a Turbo 400 direct drum. There's a 4L80E direct drum. And they both have different sprags. The 34 element version. I'm thinking I'm getting the wrong sprag for the wrong drum. So next time I'm just going to buy the drum and the sprag together. So that don't happen. But anyway, the radiator's fixed. Now I got to pull the transmission and fix the sprag again. But that'll do it for this video. Y'all have a great day. Goodbye, Willis.
Bye.